Now, I saw last week, I thought you were on Mike Tyson's podcast. You just wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah, I just went to go hang out with Mike.
Now, how'd you meet Tyson?
So Mike and I met from Eric B.
No, I was talking about Sicily. Sorry.
Sicily Tyson? Yeah, no. When we did Devil in a Blue Dress, Eric B and I are good friends from Eric B and Rockham.
Mm-hmm.
And I lent Eric one of my cars one time, and then he was coming to my house to drop it off. So when I lived in Studio City, and he was like, yo, Russ, I'm coming through. I got the caveman with me. I was like, okay. I don't know what that means. And Kung Lee was staying at my house that time.
The UFC fighter.
The UFC fighter, the former Strikeforce middleweight champion. Mm-hmm. And my mom was there from Canada visiting, and my uncle was visiting from India. He goes, yeah, I'm at the gate. I open the gate, and he comes up, and I goes, yeah, I'm like, I don't know who the caveman is. And I look in the car, I go, is that fucking Mike Tyson sitting in my car? And he goes, Mike Tyson gets out of the car, I go, holy shit, Mike Tyson's at my house.
What year was this?
Like maybe 8 years ago, 2012, maybe.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the good fuck is just happening right now? This is insane, right? Mike comes in, and I go, Kung, come here. and Kung goes, holy shit, that's Mike Tyson. And Mike comes in, and we're hanging out, and I'm like, and I grew up with Lennox Lewis. Lennox and I were amateurs at the same time. We weren't at the same gym or in the same city, but we would see each other at tournaments and whatnot. You know when people meet you and they're trying to impress you, they'll say something like, oh, yeah, Gary, yeah, I'm friends with Will Packer, too.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, yeah, cool. And then you're like, they maybe met him once or something, and that was it. So I'm like, Mike, I grew up with Lennox. He goes, yeah, that's cool. And then I'm like, oh, okay. I guess he doesn't believe me, right? I'm like, then maybe half an hour later, my mom's talking to him. She goes, Mike Lennox used to come over for lunch all the time. And I go, Mike looks at me and goes, I told you I grew up there. He goes, I know you know the motherfucker like that. I said, yeah, I know him since I was 15. So then Mike's hanging out, and I took pictures of him on my turntables. And I put the turn, he was like trying to DJ.
Yeah.
And then we just became friends from that. And
From that day?
From that day. And then he's texting me on my birthday. He was like, he sent me a voicemail. He called me on my birthday that year. It was like, yeah, Russ, happy birthday, my brother. Looking forward to getting to know you better over the years and stuff. Seem like a cool brother, man,
So what do you think is going to happen with the Roy Jones?
He's going to hurt Roy Jones. And I said to Mike last week, I said, Mike, I feel bad for Roy. He goes, don't feel bad for that fucking guy. He's going to make a lot of money. He can buy himself a fly-ass wheelchair.
That's
like,
scary.
God damn.
Oh, man, that hurts.
But he's in such good spirits now. Like it.
He's so focused, too.
He's really focused,
in a good place.
And he says he feels good about it. He goes, it's the first time I feel good training.
Oh, my God. Because listen.
His memory, though, is insane.
Tyson's?
Mike Tyson has, I pride myself on having a good memory.
Yeah, me too.
But his memory, like, it's ridiculous. It's like next level. Because when I first met him that one time, when we first met, I'm asking him all kinds of questions. And I mentioned this guy that I met when I met him in Toronto when Chappelle was shooting Half Baked, and he was in the movie, and his name was Ray Hinton. And I asked him about him then. That was 8 or 9 years ago. Last week when we're hanging out, and I've hung out with Mike a few times, many times, and out of nowhere, Mike's like, we're talking, he's like, Russell, man, there's no reason you and me should know the same fucking people, We built differently. All these same fucking gangsters I know. And I go, I don't know, I just know these guys. He's like, but it doesn't make sense, It goes to Chuck Zito, who was there with me, he goes, yo, Chuck, the first time I met this fucking guy, he asked me about Ray Hinton. I'm like, yo, you remember that? Yeah. I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Like, did you remember that? It was a detailed thing to remember.
Yeah.
It's like it's an insane memory.
Huh.
That's why I think he's going to be great in the fight. I go, Mike, your memory's insane. He goes, yeah, at least I still got that,
Yeah, you got a little more than that. Looking at it hit them bags.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to be a bag even.
I just can't believe they're not going to wear headgear.
No headgear, no judges.
It's just a free-for-all then. They're going back to Jack Johnson shit.
It's a referee, and whoever's deemed unfit to continue will not continue.
Is it going to be rounds?
Yeah,
3-minute rounds?
3-minute rounds.
Fuck that, dude.
I mean,
I feel bad for Roy. God.
I mean, Roy's going to be training his ass off.
I know, but like Roy's the classic.
You can't train your chin.
That's what I'm saying. Once he got knocked out by Tarver,
yeah,
he was never the same.
And then Glenn Johnson.
Yeah, I was like this.
And then some fucking bum in Russia, remember?
Exactly. Like, and he's been staggered numerous times since then too.
So
but I'm like, dude, this is a heavyweight. that's been knocking out guys 250 pounds his whole life. Roy's not even 200 normally. But now
he would be.
Now he is.
Yeah,
but I'm saying,
I think
talking about a natural build.
Yeah, you remember when Roy fought John Ruiz for the heavyweight title and he won it?
Yeah.
And I think Roy came in at like 201 or 202.
Yeah. When Ruiz could have been one of the worst heavyweight
yeah, but that's
champions
fine.
of all time.
That's fine.
That was tailor-made.
Yeah, but that was great. But Roy came in just over the limit.
Yeah. God damn, why? Oh, my God.
And he spanked him. He outboxed him like crazy.
This is going to be ugly.
But it's going to be good.
I'm watching.
We're all fucking watching.
And that's in September, right?
Yeah, it's September 12th. September 12th. And Mike was telling me, like, it's the League of Legends. So it's like all sports.
What do you mean?
So, like, hockey, legendary hockey players are going to play a hockey game against each other. Legendary golfers are going to play against each other. Legendary tennis players are going to play against each other. Any retired...
Yeah, but boxing's a different
Any
ballgame.
retired elite athlete will be in this thing. And it's going to be fucking amazing.
Boxing's a different ballgame, man.
I know.
Motherfuckers get hurt.
I know, but that's what makes it exciting.
Oh,
I mean, I think it'll culminate with ultimately ending with him fighting Holyfield at the end of it. But Holyfield's got to fight somebody first, you know what I mean? Maybe they'll get Holyfield to fight Bo again or something. I don't know. I
don't think that's going to happen, but Holyfield
I know Bo needs the money.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Bo can get his ass in shape, sort of. I mean, but Bo's mad punchy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel bad. Like, I met him in Atlantic City one night. I was like, "What's up, champion?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, every time I see his interviews, I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah, his tongue looks like it weighs 10 pounds when he's talking. I was like, "What's up, man?"
In his career outside of Andrew Galata, I don't remember him taking a bunch of punishment to be that way.
Those wars against Holyfield took a toll on him.
Yeah.
Those were fucking wars.
Yeah, they were fucking throwing bombs back then.
Yeah.
I remember back then, I was buying into the Great White Hype, Tommy Morrison.
Tommy was a good fighter at that time.
He could have kept his head together, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't training at all. He was fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
drinking.
he died of AIDS, right?
Yeah, but he's had legendary nights in Kansas City where they was like, 2 weeks before a fight, they were dragging him out of the bar.
Oh,
Not the bar's closed, get out, Tommy. Like, he's passed out. Somebody needs to come get him.
Yeah. That's because of the Rocky movie. That's what blew him up.
Yeah, that's right. Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
And then I remember the one time I think he was focused and ready to go was against Foreman. Like he fought a safe fight against Foreman.
Wasn't it one of his last fights against Lennox?
That was on a downfall.
But that was also after that fight is when they found out he had AIDS, HIV.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lennox was scared as fuck. I remember Lennox was like, "Yo, what the fuck? This guy bled on me." I'm like, "Yo, I'm so scared." I was scared for Len.
I remember getting arguments with people, like not physical arguments, but like barbershop arguments when I was like, dude, Lennox ain't, when he fought Mike, I was like, Mike's not ready for Lennox right now.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Mentally, everything. I said, Lennox, you guys don't give him enough credit, man. That guy he's one of the most underappreciated heavyweight champs.
What people don't know, too, is that Lennox and Mike had sparred many, many times in the 80s. So Lennox told me that, like in '84, right before the Empire Games, New York State Games, Lennox went up to go and meet Mike. That was the first time he met him. Like '83, '84, he met him, and he was like, Mike was really nice and really friendly. And then the minute they got in the ring to spar, he was like, "Yo, this guy's fucking nuts."
Yeah.
And then Lennox like, "Okay, I adjusted." And then the next time we fought, I figured him out. Mm-hmm. But Lennox was like, I always knew how to fight him because I'd sparred with him when he was a beast.
Yeah.
So I already knew how to fight him.
I remember watching the Olympic trials, and they did a big piece on Customato and Mike Tyson. And then Mike lost to
Henry Tillman.
Yeah, I was like this. Wow, I just watched this great piece.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and then he loses. I went, well, what the fuck was that? And then I was like, all of a sudden, then he just started knocking people out. Then he was Kid Dynamite on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And then I remember we were driving in that hot-ass station wagon down to Cocoa Beach. We stopped at a hotel, and this is before you couldn't just get fights when he fought Spinks.
Right.
And I remember thinking, we didn't know until the next day. Because there was no way to get the news until the paper came out the next morning.
1988. That was June of 1988.
Yeah. So I'm like this. I'm literally that night going, well, I don't know what happened. Because they had you thinking Spinks had a shot. Spinks was undefeated.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember I woke up and saw the paper, and it was like 91 seconds or something.
Yeah,
I went,
91
what
seconds.
the fuck was that?
Yeah, remember the Diet Pepsi sponsored that one.
Yeah.
I remember because it was like literally the weekend after high school ended for me.
That was when the fight was?
Yeah. It was like school ended on the Friday or something, and the fight was on the Saturday.
Where were you when he fought Buster Douglas?
I was at a nightclub in Toronto, and it was this club called Empire, and I was there, and nobody was really going to get that fight because it was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Mm-hmm. They were waiting for Holyfield.
Yeah, and then I was like, I guess we'll just find out what time how fast Mike knocked this guy out. And then I remember my dad, I think I called my dad. It must have been like 11:30 at night. I was like, Dad, any word on that Tyson fight? He goes, Mike got knocked out. And I go, shut the fuck up. He goes, he got beat up, stopped in the 10th round. I'm like, what the? And I go to this guy, Mike, that ran the club. I was like, and he was Mike was one of those Diesel brothers, like, always in really great shape. And he was a pretty boy, but he was jacked. And I knew he knew how to fight, but I didn't realize how hard this motherfucker hit. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, Mike, fucking Tyson just got knocked out. He's like, what? And he pulls up on TV, and as soon as Mike got hit, he smacked me on my back so hard. Yo, what the fuck? I remember going, huh? Fucking, what did I
That's
do
the
to
worst in the small of your back, too?
No, in the
right
in the
here?
meat part, the center. I thought he broke my spine.
Yeah. I was working at Taco Bell.
Stop bragging. Man.
Yeah.
Jesus, you're dropping all these names.
I'm telling you, man.
Bell,
That's what I
Cocoa
do.
Beach.
I was working at Listen,
all these socks.
my white trash is tried and true. I remember working at Taco Bell, and I got off, and I remember I took everything when they closed, like all the tacos they could have. I mean, my family ate well the 3 months I worked at Taco Bell. So my mom picked me up, and I was like, hey, had the fight started? And she goes, well, they were walking into the ring on my way to get you. I said, it's probably over.
Right.
So when I got home, it was in the 3rd round. And I remember sitting there going, oh, fuck, this guy's kind of fighting Mike. And it was at that, I didn't see the first 2 rounds, but I remember the announcers going, well, we weren't expecting this. Yeah. Well, he came to fight. Man, is he really teeing off? Is he instigating the exchanges? I was like, oh, shit. And then when he got knocked down.
The referee was Octavio Moran, I think.
Oh, really? I just remember how quiet it was in the audience.
Oh, yeah, because it was Japan.
Yeah.
So they didn't, that's what kind of sucked about it, was that it didn't get the scream that it should have gotten.
Can you imagine if that was in Vegas? There would have been riots.
Oh, my God. And I can remember exactly what Jim Lampley said when Mike Tyson knocked out Trevor Berbick. Remember? And we have a new era in boxing. Yeah. There was none of that shit. It was like...
Nothing. Even when they were just sitting there.
Yep.
It was like they were watching tennis.
Yeah, it was insane.
It almost was a good thing. Do you know that they would have destroyed that casino?
Theoretically, that fight should have been stopped. I mean, he knocked out Buster Douglas, and he got a long count in that fight.
Mm-hmm. But it goes back. Did Buster hear the count? And it's like, I'm waiting until 9 to get up. Yeah. Because he didn't seem like he was knocked out. Because remember, he hit the ground like, fuck.
Yeah.
I got caught.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he still would have got up. Even though the count was long, I do think he would have got up.
He got up, and then the bell rang, remember?
That's right.
So he literally got saved by the bell.
Yeah.
That was what, the 8th round or 7th round or something?
That was the 8th. And then everybody thought, then he just came out of the 9th, like, almost knocked Mike. I remember, that's the first time I see Mike hit that hard where his head just went, boom. And then that was right at the end of the 9th. I was like, oh, shit. And then it was literally like Drago and Rocky. Yeah. He's hurt. Yeah. He's hurt.
And then when he tried to pick up his mouthpiece.
Oh, God.
I just
sideways.
Like, oh, my God, this is all bad. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?